such an asshole.
Hello, children. Cappy here. We have a request, and if you always have a request, you can go to assholeconsulting.com. And sometimes people pay me to review movies. It is very expensive because I have to sit still for 1.5, 2, or in the case of Fight Club, 2.5 hours. And I was like, why am I pissed off? I have to watch a movie. Like, I'm paid to watch movies, and it's just, oh no, you're paid to sit still. That's what it was. And so I just finished it. It is 2 hours, 20 minutes. It's a long movie. And I won't lie, my original things, like, I remember seeing that in the theater, right? 26 years ago. More than half my life ago is when I saw it. 1999 when it came out. And it's one of those things where everybody tells you to read a book or watch this movie or watch this show, and then I don't want to watch it, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, Fight Club, this fight. It was so, in my mind at the time, overquoted, oversighted. I'm like, this is probably some edgy fucking shit that I thought was probably pretty cool when I was 24 years old. I'm like, yeah, it's not that. I know. I watched it. I watched it again with older man eyes, and there's going to be a lesson in that. And it is an excellent movie. It is a must-see movie. It's not one of my top 10, like, in terms of me liking it. I didn't like it that. I liked it a lot, but I didn't like it that much. If that makes any sense. Like, you could look at it, like, that's a phenomenal car. It's not my cup of tea, but that's a phenomenal car. This is a movie everyone should see. And so I'm kind of glad I revisited it, especially with older eyes. But let me go over it, give you the review, and then the takeaway. First, fuck you. Spoiler alert. No, fuck you. He's the same dude. It's the same guy. There. No, I'm not even going to give warning. It's the same guy. Tyler Durden and the other guy are the same guy. Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are the same guy. He's a split personality there. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I've only seen it once. I saw it in the theater. Shit, it was probably at the Mall of America. It was so long ago. You don't appreciate how genius the writing is in the movie is. For you to make it realize, oh, wow. Like, you as the audience, it's like the Book of Eli. I thought the Book of Eli, Denzel Washington had sight. No, apparently he was blind. I even lost a $5 bet on that. Like, he's not blind. He just happens to know Braille. Oh, by the way, Book of Eli, he's blind. Just caution alert. What was it? Sensitivity warning. Trigger alert. Oh, you inferior fucking weak American. Trigger. You might be triggered. Push you off a cliff in Minecraft. All right, anyway, that's excessive. It was so well written and directed. You as the audience member going through it the first time are completely unaware it's the same guy. You watch it a second time knowing it's the same guy. You see how clever the writing was and the direction was. Like, yep, they never are seen at the same time. None of the conversation would be contradictory. You're kind of wondering, like, the guy's polar opposites, so he must be driving everyone around him nuts, and he does. But I think you need to know that to see the genius of it, because frankly, you don't have 5 hours of time to watch the same movie twice. It's not that good of a movie. So it's very clever, very brilliant. And I guess I'll just go over the good and bad things. Way ahead of its time. The number one thing that needs to be stated about this movie, and that everybody my age, we should be ashamed, because all these red pill troops were there, just red pill stuff in general, getting finances, not being part of the corporate slave. There are a couple other movies that this very closely correlated with. American Beauty, not beat for beat, but very similar lessons, especially the 1099 Superior Race, where both the employees threaten their boss to get self-employment or just basically get a check. So that was beat for beat in that part. Office Space, though a comedy, was very similar. So this wisdom was there. That's one thing I pulled from this. Is like, the wisdom has always been there. This book was written in 1996 by a Chuck Palahniuk. Never, I don't read, so I won't know who he is. But dude, and no kidding, Schopenhauer, the Greeks, the Bible, Islam, it's all been there, man. It's all been there. It's been written down for thousands of years. We just keep forgetting this shit and got to learn it over again. How materialism is bullshit. It is the most red pill movie, not just in dating and romance. And so even that, even the red pill was there about, treat a girl like shit. You're really, no kidding. It's sad. One of the minor and few complaints I have about the movie is I don't know if the girl is necessary. Now, some people a little more literate than me would say, no, she's necessary because she's like the conduit or the vehicle by which he inevitably finds out he's the same guy. And then he has to apologize to her. But I still, looking back, and I'm like, why is she there? And even she was done well. The perfect little independent pixie girl in the 90s. Oh, so Winona Ryder and so insufferable. So you look back at it, and I never liked Winona Ryder, but you look back like, man, did the adults and the boomers want you to like the pixie girl, the Winona Ryder, or more modernly, Ramona Flowers? Oh, don't you like the goth? Oh, she's so edgy. It's just like, no, they write her too intelligent. She was not believable, but she had to be in order to fit into this movie. But that is an anachronism. That's a fossil to look at that trope, that stereotype back then. But even there, the red pill lesson was because he goes between two extremes, the nerdy, obedient, white collar worker, and Brad Pitt, Tyler Durden, the bad boy who does everything. And then obviously she's really attracted to the bad boy. And then he comes out of it, and then he's Normie Normanson. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, he doesn't even know that he's been banging her. And she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't remember anything? And they write it very cleverly. He's like, no, get the fuck out of here. That is probably the best part of the movie, is how cleverly that was written and done. Bravo, Charlie. But there's a red pill, perhaps not intentional. There's a red pill lesson about even women in there. It's like, yeah, ignore her and say, get the fuck out of my house. And guess what? She keeps coming back. Like, the nerdy guy would have never gotten her. At first, he's begging with her and pleading with her to get out of his help groups. And then all of a sudden, she starts banging Tyler Durden. And then he switches back to the normal guy. And she's like, who the fuck are you? Sorry, spoiler alert, trigger warning. So there's that. The larger red pill lesson is it's 100% right about materialism and pussified men. They even say we're a generation raised by our mothers, and they're 100. This is 26 years ago. It was all there, guys. It's just the internet, and me and my boys dug it up and made it a little bit more presentable. We didn't create it. We just rediscovered it, polished it off, and presented it on the internet for all of you to see. Much to the chagrin of all you feminists out there. But yeah, it was all about, like, you don't need this shit. The plot starts out, the guy's condo gets exploded, and he's got all of his materialism in there. And he's called IKEA boy, and he's got all this, he's got all that, he's got the good job. And Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden, comes in, oh, geez, all your shit got blown up. That's just too bad. And then thus the journey or the path where he starts to find out there are more important things to life than shit and stuff. So that's 100% right. That was there. And ultimately, it was red pill before red pill even became a thing. And it's not coincidence it came out in 1999, written in 96, published in 99. That is, you got to hand it to the author. Chuck Palahniuk. Please look him up. He was way ahead before the internet made it. I didn't start blogging until 2004. That was 5 years after the movie came out. And I saw the movie and I didn't pick up on it. I didn't pick up on any of those lessons, which is going to be a lesson later on. But yeah, this is an excellent movie. This is a must watch. This is a classic. It is a classic. You should watch it, even though it may be a little bit homeworky. It's very intense, very intense. So you're going to be exhausted after watching it. The only problems I had was that it's a little long. But it's not bad, right? It's not. I mean, compared to modern day movies, there's not a single second of this movie that would be unentertaining. It is. I'd rather watch it twice than watch 3 brand new Disney movies. Modern movies don't even compare. So even though it's a little long, it's a very minor criticism, very minor. And again, as I said before, I don't think the girl was all that necessary. Although I guess she did provide color. I guess it provided an angle, although I don't believe intentionally about Red Pill about women and dating and romance. I'm sure the author had her in there for a reason. He says, no, if I were to sit down with the guy. So why was she in there? And he said, well, because this, and this would not have been realized without her as a conduit and a vehicle to come to those realizations. I'd be like, oh, so that's my very ignorant, I didn't write the book take. I just didn't. Perhaps I'm having flashback to those type of Winona Ryder girls where everyone's, oh my God, she's dark and emo-y, and she cuts across the street sideways instead of down. You walk down the street, not across. That's a very dark joke. And it's even in the movie. I don't know. Maybe this is just a cry for help. Oh, too bad. I guess one more coroners need employment. That's going to be an easy diagnosis. Well, there it is. And another one, I'll tell you this. I think there's a whole genre of that was early 90s. There's a whole genre movie in the 90s that would fit this that you all should watch. Heathers, Fight Club, American Beauty, and Office Space. I think you should watch all 4 of those I listed because they're all somewhat similarly related and very good dark lessons, much needed lessons you need to have. So anyway, that's it. I like as my good and bad, liked it very much and all that. However, there was one thing that makes Fight Club an interesting movie for men who wish to watch it. And it has a much more important lesson about men, particularly young men, and wisdom. See, because I saw this in 1999 in the theaters, and young Cappy was young. He was 24. And I remember it being a good movie, but I don't remember how brilliant it was. And it was the same damn thing with American Beauty. When was American Beauty? I think it was 2000 because I was dating an insufferable bitch at that time. American Beauty. It came out in 1999. There it is. 1999. Same year. There are things in both movies, American Beauty and Fight Club, that you simply cannot appreciate until you're an older man. I'm going to say at least 35, more like 40. And the old joke, right? When you're a little kid and you listen to the men, you occasionally caught your old man bad mouthing your mom or an uncle bitching about your aunt, right? Crazy women. And you'd say, why would they say that about mom? Why would they say that about Auntie Clara? They're loving people. Aren't they married? Aren't they? And then when you get older, you realize, oh, women are batshit insane. They're beakers, all of them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the natural difference between men and women. And you're like, oh my fuck. You're like girls getting ready. Why are girls always late and gathering this shit when you got 3 minutes to make your flight? I don't know, but they do be like that sometimes, right? And it's frustrating because we get to deal with the real world. We're the intermediary between the real world and women world and girly world. The plane will be held for us, won't it? I'm being a little overly harsh, but you would hear these jokes, right? Or you'd hear these not even harsh slights, but slights against women that you knew, mom, grandma, whatever. Like, well, why did it? And then you get the Al Bundy wisdom. It's Married with Children. There's another thing that correlates. Again, the 90s. It's oh my God. And then you're a 46-year-old man. And you're like, I get it. I get it why that joke was funny. I get it why grandpa said that about grandma. I get it now. Because now you're not this young man anymore. You're experienced. It's funny. You get the joke because women do be like that sometimes. This is the same thing. Fight Club is the same thing. I don't think as a young man you can appreciate it until you go through more shit in life. And this brings then about the paradox of the irony or even the tragedy of wisdom. If you look at all my books, right, all my works, it's largely advice, disproportionately financial advice for young people to avoid the mistakes I made and come out better than I did by my age, right? Don't make the mistakes I made, kid. Here is some wisdom for you to make decisions now that maybe you don't understand it at the moment in time will pay off tremendous benefits down the road. And when you're young, the irony is you don't have the experience or contextual experience as a context in your life to understand why the old man is telling you not to chase after the hot 10, right? It doesn't make sense to you right off the bat. Look out for that girl. She's a 10. Why? Well, she's a 10. What's wrong with you, old man? Are you crazy? No, you don't understand. Because that's like a Ferrari with an engine that not only going to go to work, but it's going to blow acid on you through the heat vents in the car. This is a bad deal. How do you teach a young man wisdom when he isn't old enough to know he should listen to it? When he doesn't have the context to pick up on the lessons that are being told, just like the funny jokes that your dad said when you were 8, but you didn't get it because you were 8. And that's where I think whether it's a book or a movie or whatever, works like Fight Club, you need an older man or an older person, although ladies, I don't think you're going to have any motivation or incentive to explain the important lessons Fight Club is perhaps telling people. You need an older person to sit down and not just bark the lessons out at younger people, but say, here is why. This is why it's brilliant. Both Kevin Spacey in American Beauty says, what happens? He threatens his boss, says, what would happen if I falsely threatened you with sexual harassment and you came on to me? And Edward Norton punching himself in the office when he's called in there for an employment review and is terminated. As a young man, unless you've suffered white collar work, you're not going to understand why that's a brilliant tactic or why it's brilliant at that time. You don't understand how being a supplicant little beta bitch. Here's a great, perhaps the most important lesson out of American Beauty is don't become a supplicant little obedient bitch. Do not try to make your wife happy. That's how Lester Burnham got in the problems in the movie American Beauty, which you should watch as well. Because he kept making her happy and doting on her instead of telling her, no, fuck off. Here are the lines. Here are the boundaries. And when he does, all of a sudden people start respecting him. You wouldn't understand that. Like, why would I tell her to shut up? Why would I throw the plate? That's violence. I don't get it. I would never do that. Why is it when Tyler Durden / Edward Norton's character treats the girl like shit, she keeps coming back? You can't understand that as a 17-year-old boy, or younger man. But when you're older, you get it. And if we could give you guys these lessons earlier, even if it requires us to translate a little bit and explain to you why, like, no, this needs to be studied like a classic book. You need older, wiser men, not just I wish you parents, especially boomers, would realize, even if you did give good advice, you can't just, because I said so. Because I said so. You have to explain why. And I think that's the tragedy of Fight Club, especially when it came out for Gen X boys, we thought it was just a cool, edgy movie. We did not realize the amazing future prediction, ancient wisdom lessons that were in that movie. And if we had just listened to it, we would have got. Let me give you some boring economics. The book's written in 96. The movie comes out in 99, right? Materialism, stupid, bad, slavery, corporate. Do you know what every boy who watched that did? They got their college degrees, probably went off and got an MBA, and then we had the dot-com bubble, an online trading bro. And after that, 6 years later, you had the housing bubble. The movie, though brilliant and as accurate as that Turkish guy, Yusuf Didek, you know, the guy, the old Gen Xer who got silver in the Olympics without using freaking optics. That movie is so precise and accurate, despite being so precise and accurate, being delivered in 1999. Nobody in America learned the lesson. And they all went hog wild with materialism with the build up to the housing bubble where they took out home equity lines and got cars, bro, and this, bro, and that, bro, European trips and triple mortgages. Not a single person learned that lesson. And that's where the tragedy and the irony is when you were a young man like me, when I saw the movie, I didn't see the lessons. I was stuck in poverty. I was stuck trying to figure out the rules. I was stuck like, yeah, that's really interesting, right? Lord knows there probably was some wisdom thrown my way. But when you're on the lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like many of you are right now, like you don't have time to sit and pontificate the inner meaning of American Beauty or Heathers or Fight Club. You're like, God damn, I need to make rent. But it really behooves you to take the time, watch the movie. Don't read the book. Book's going to take too long to read. No offense against Charlie. To take these lessons. Now, thankfully, we got the internet. Thankfully, we have self-publishing now. And all this accumulated wisdom of the ancients, of the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century philosophers, of religious texts have been conveniently put together for you in scores of books that many men have written, whether that's Rollo Tomasi, myself, Ryan Stone, even though they're not in our wheelhouse. What is this, Chris Williamson? I know a lot of people don't like him. But my point is, the internet has cultivated and curated these lessons and boiled them down into digestible tomes, rule books. And I don't think we're ever going to lose the wisdom again. I don't think we're ever going to lose that wisdom. But if you need to get your wisdom in a more entertaining form, you don't like reading books, Fight Club. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a work of theater or film. It is a work of philosophy. And it's a very important philosophy for men. Ladies, you could learn it too. I mean, women weren't prominent in that movie at all. It was mainly a movie for guys, but ladies, you could learn to stop pursuing a handbag and maybe, I don't know, go work out but why am I trying to give you wisdom? You won't listen to it anyway. You girl boss, you sanctimonious 23-year-old girls know everything, just like us 23-year-old boys in the 90s knew everything, and it came to bite us in the ass. And so I think Fight Club serves as a great lesson for young people, especially men, and needs to be introduced to them very early on. So you understand, oh, hey, now this is why you need to know. The solution then is not to go and blow up buildings and commit terrorism, which is the different plot of the thing. Also cleverly done. Weren't you here, sir? It's brilliant. But you do need to see it, and it would really help if you had someone interpret it for it. Perhaps how I'm doing here. But I think it should be brought to light that Fight Club is not just some movie that, yeah, bro, nag her, bro, nag her. Dude, be tall and hit the gym, bro. No, there's a lot more. There was 100% reason, 100% right to refer and reference Fight Club And every young man should see it, I'd say, starting at 16, revisit it at 20, 21. And it really helps if fathers, oh my God, I know feminists and Western women have told you men are not needed and fathers are not needed and we just need government checks. Your children still need you. And so if you could sit your children down and watch this, it would really help out a lot. And then I think as an older man, kind of like you, when you're 21, you're given a good scotch. You don't know what that is. You know, you haven't developed the wisdom or the palate or the experience to appreciate a good scotch. But by the time you're in the upper 30s or 40s, and if you like scotch, you're like, oh, this is a good scotch, a wine or whatever. Something that takes a little bit like, oh, I see now. You then watch it, right? If I had a nephew or a niece turned 21 and I bought them the Glenlivet 14, a good scotch, they wouldn't know if it's a good scotch or a bad scotch. They probably wouldn't like the taste. But if I revisit them when they're 40, heaven forbid, I'll be in my 70s by that time, maybe my 80s. And then I said, well, here's this, but let's give you an Octomore. I don't even drink no more, but I got friends. I give them an Octomore, what was it, 15.3? They would appreciate that a lot more. So that's my review. Okay, super. Link below. Couple resources very closely related to the movie Fight Club. I have two resources. One, Zero World Problems, New Standards of Living in a Post-Materialist Economy. Notice the post-materialist, that means not things, not stuff. If you read that in conjunction with this, Bachelor Pad Economics, but you don't read all the way through, it's a reference book. But if you get your basic finance together, which is this book, so you don't worry about food, clothing, shelter no more. And then you move on to this and avoid buying brand new trucks in Ohio. Kidding, Ray. Kidding. I see Ray's in the comments. You will avoid a tremendous amount of mistakes that all the men older in your life made. And then I also have a course. I have two courses. One is on minimalism. That's not open for enrollment. I do have one called Achieving Financial Excellence, which is this introductory sister companion course. And it talks about what is the real role and purpose of money in your life. You take those three courses, you just do what you take those two books or take that one course and you do what's in them. I can't guarantee you'll be rich, but I can guarantee you're going to have a lot less financial troubles in your life. And you're going to have I can't say you're going to have a happier, you're going to have a less painful life, and a more enjoyable life. I can't say you're going to have a happy life, but you're going to have a less painful one and a more enjoyable one. All right, super chats. Captain Jack, $2. Saw Dre's comment. Curious, what net worth by 40? 40? 40 for a guy? If you have no shit. Allow me to brag. Allow me to take confidence in my products. If you follow this and you don't fuck up, and you pursue this and you don't fuck up, right? You don't get no bitches knocked up. You don't major in dumb shit. You don't go spending your money by 40. 40. No joke. You should have around, I want to say at minimum $500,000 saved up. In today's money, I know that sounds impossible, but you're going from 18 to 40. That's 22 years. I want to say more like $600,000 in assets net worth, whether that's a house and 401k, all of it. If you played your cards right, that is very feasible. And yes, that requires living at home, requires saving money, not majoring in dumb shit, majoring in the right thing. If you, eat at minimum, which I didn't achieve at 40 because I fucked up. No one told me. But if I could go back in time to 18-year-old self me, yes, $500,000, no problem by 40. Easy. Raymond, thoughts and minds, $5. Lost my Virgin card the night a chick invited me over to watch Fight Club in high school. All downhill from there. What was good times? See, Fight Club is the gift that keeps on giving. Raymond, $2. By the way, subscribe to Raymond's channel. Add Almost Famous to your 90s recommended list. Almost Famous. What was that one? I don't think I saw that. Almost Famous. Is this who is this? What is this? Kate Hudson? I think, yeah, by 2000, I was in the dark times. I didn't see that one. Cyberbully, $10 generous. The book and movie changed my life. We read it in my No kidding. You had a teacher that did that? That teacher should get teacher of the year, like legit teacher of the year, not let's go have sexual relations with our students, Democrat teachers union teacher of the year, like a legit, oh, you actually taught the kids teacher of the year. My AP English class in high school, my teacher was a unique lady. Probably my first exposure to the red pill. Pitt's Physique got me into the gym too. Yeah. There was a little contradiction where they're looking at these Calvin Klein billboard ads and the guys are all jacked. He's like, hey, this was what real men look like. And Edward Norton says, they couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag or something like that. And then Brad Pitt is exactly that physique. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll let it slide. I know you got to get the ladies in there. Yeah, you know how you get that physique? Yeah, you don't eat. That's how you get that physique. Lord Scrumptious, $2. Once Tyler is gone, reality begins. Towers start falling. Yep. It was an excellent movie. Excellent movie. All right, there you guys go. Watch the movie. Sit down. Don't be doing something else. Don't be looking at your phone. Watch the fucking movie. See you guys later. Toodles.